Hi guys, in this AG1 review, I'm going to share with you what I've not heard from other AG1 reviewers, AG1 partners, as well as scientific advisors or investors. And this includes the founder himself. To start off, I'm going to talk about my relationship with AG1. And as you might have seen from the video title, I did work for Athletic Greens for a short period of time. If you want to skip all the storytelling and go straight into the review, there'll be timestamps on this video. If not, it's time for a little bit of context. So AG1 recently had a soft launch in Singapore. This means that if you're in Singapore and you go to the website, you can now purchase it directly off the link. In the past, you had to go through third parties who brought in stocks from the United States, for example. So to do that, they had to get clearance from the authorities to sell it in Singapore. They had to get the partners' links up and running, and that's where my job came in. I got to know the chief financial officer through a mutual contact, and our friend linked us up because he thought what I was doing is linked to what AG1 wants to offer in Singapore. As you might already know, AG1 markets itself through content creators, and I happen to be a budding YouTuber in Singapore covering the health tech scene in Asia. So there was a little bit of alignment there. And the second thing is AG1 invested in sponsoring Ironman World Championships, and they also sponsor Ironman champions, past and present. And I happen to know the triathlon scene in Singapore because prior to COVID-19, I was doing triathlon coaching as well as covering the Southeast Asia scene from a media standpoint. Last but not least, AG1 also tapped onto community builders as well as content creators in the fitness and wellness sectors. And I happen to be doing that as a trainer and running a physiotherapy business as well. So with all this alignment, it was a decent idea to work together to get AG1 up and running in Singapore by getting in touch with all these guys in all these sectors, getting them to try out AG1 if they haven't and see if they like it. And then if they want to, they can convert onto partners, which you see promoting their links during their videos or their content. As I said, I have a startup, so it doesn't make sense for me to become an employee, so I became a consultant. The thing is, prior to working with AG, I did discuss with my team whether it would make sense for us to work together, and we had a few considerations. The main one was whether it was a science-backed product, because if you take a look at our content, we typically share about research, and there are conflicting reviews on the internet. We finally concluded that it would make sense to do a short stint and see how it goes. At the very least, we'll learn more about the product, and we can then make a decision from there. The second consideration was whether this was a multi-level marketing strategy, and if it was, we weren't interested in it. And technically, it's not, because it's an affiliate model. It's just that they've done it so well with people like Dr. Peter Attia and Andrew Huberman, a neuroscientist from Stanford, promoting it, that it stands out so much. There are other supplements as well as other products in tech, as well as in photography, for example, that uses a affiliate model. So with that, I went ahead with a BD consultancy contract with AG1. That contract has since come to an end at the end of December. Like I said, it was a really short contract. And so now I'm here providing a review about my experience as well as what I have learned. To be clear, I've tried out the product for myself for a few months now, and I'll be sharing my personal thoughts later. Right now, it's about what I found. And what most creators won't tell you is that, firstly, it's not for everyone. For example, a LinkedIn contact of mine, Dennis, pointed out to what he found on Consumer Lab, which says that due to the amount of lead found per serving, regular use of this product should be avoided by children and women who may be pregnant. Now, if you go to AG1's website and you search their FAQ, you'll find similar answers for children as well as women who are pregnant. Of course, this includes other reasons. For example, AG1 contains ashwagandha, and it is generally not advised that pregnant women take that. On the same note, ashwagandha is also not advised for people who have autoimmune disorders. So one of the things to look out for is that AG1 has 75 ingredients, as they claim. And if you're allergic to any of those ingredients, do consult your doctor as to whether it's advisable that you take AG1 or not. This is, once again, aligned to what AG1 disclaims on its website, as well as what many of the creators disclaim. In fact, I see this disclaimer so much that I wondered how useful it is. So I talked to a doctor about it. And this particular doctor that I'm going to feature, I offered him AG1 samples as part of my business development role. He did not end up becoming a partner, and this means that he can choose to recommend AG1 to his patients or not, but regardless, he wouldn't be taking a cut. That is the stance that he's most comfortable with, and I asked him to start off whether all doctors know about supplements. This is what he has to say.
General practitioners in Singapore are very well trained. but I don't think we are actually trained in recommending supplements at all. In fact, if I remember throughout my medical school and residency days, I don't think we ever touched anything on supplements. If we needed any nutritional or dietary advice, the typical thing that we do as doctors would be to just refer them to a nutritionist or a dietitian. But I think it's very important for doctors, including general practitioners, to know about supplements, especially that our patients are all taking it now.
I also asked him, what are some other things we need to know about?
There's 3 groups of tests that you can do before you take supplements or AG1. The first is biomarkers. That's to look at your liver function tests, your renal function tests, your vitamin levels, your minerals, bone health, and so on and so forth. The list can be quite extensive. The second group of tests is your genomics, such as your nutrigenomics, to look at your genetic tendency for low levels of vitamins or minerals. The third group is doing a microbiome test, because some supplements contains microbiome or probiotics, including AG1.
So while not every doctor is formally trained on supplements, they should be able to guide you to tests you can take or people you can talk to. The last question I asked was, what are some of the reasons that someone should not be taking AG1?
The first reason is whether you have any underlying medical conditions such as chronic kidney disease or autoimmune disease such as lupus. And the reason is because some of the ingredients in AG1 can be harmful, such as alfalfa for lupus. The second group are those below 18 years old, because the levels of vitamins and minerals may be too high for this group. The third group is those who have allergic reactions, especially to spirulina, which is contained in AG1. The fourth group are those that have gastrointestinal issues, such as stomach bloating or diarrhea, and so on and so forth.
So related to what he said and what I found other creators have not mentioned is the topic on foundational nutrition. As you can see, AG1 positions itself as a pioneer in foundational nutrition, and it's useful to know that it doesn't mean AG1 is able to cover all our supplementation needs across the day. For example, it doesn't cover vitamin D because that's a fat-soluble vitamin like vitamin A and vitamin K. That's something in its powder form mixed with water isn't able to provide. In fact, in an earlier video, we reviewed Dr. Peter Attia's supplement list, and he takes a lot more supplements on top of AG1. I'll put the link to the video somewhere on the screen so that you can check it out if you're interested. The other thing that I had to do a little bit of digging on to find out was how well researched AG1 is. And if you head to AG1's website, you can find out some of the work they have done. These are early evidences, and I would say more research has to be done for the AG1 benefits that they claim to be conclusive. What I also found though was this Fit Insider interview done with the founder of AG1, and he was asked this particular question on research. And this is what he had to say.
Do you have any plans to, do any studies down the path of proving the effectiveness, or thinking about it in terms of this is how we continue to validate it? Or is it more, which so often is the case in kind of the wellness and nutritional space, it's like, I feel the difference, but it hasn't quite been to the point where it's been tested and studied like a healthcare treatment or a science-backed kind of treatment.
Yeah, so it's a good question. So we're not a medical product. We're not required by the FDA to go have a series of clinical studies to be able to put this out in the market. We are research and science backed with some of the smartest research advisors, like full stop period, in the world. And each of those ingredients gets massively vetted for quality. There's science and a ton of science on all of them. There's growing science on synergy of how they work together, something that we pioneered as a synergistic approach to how your body absorbs nutrients that interfaces with the gut health. And then there's this quality certifications that you can look at to say, yeah, what is in the bottle, the pouch, the packet is on the label. Those are things like the NSF certified for sport, which tell you that what is on the label is in there and nothing else is. It's also like the Therapeutic Goods Administration of Australia, which is considered by many to be the most stringent regulatory body. I mean, there's a couple of things that we've done and kind of pioneered in terms of how they relate to a foundation nutritional product. That sort of really set the bar on, like, we just won't dip below.
With that said, I thought it's pretty useful that I got to try out the product for myself. And my personal experience is that it improved my bowel movements, and it also increased my energy levels in the sense that previously I was working in the morning up to around 10 p.m. at night and not feeling tired. And after that, I would feel tired, not being able to concentrate on late night jobs. But after taking AG, I was able to extend into the night, which might not be entirely useful for everyone, but that was my experience. The other thing that I realized was that there is a psychological effect of this product. So if I didn't take it in the morning and I left house without my AG, I would be thinking across the day, am I getting my essential nutrients in? Do I need more supplements? Things like that. And the other thing is that it feels like a good habit to have, to take AG1 in the morning and start your day on a healthy note. My conclusion here is that test the product out for yourself. And I say test, not try, because I would rather you go through the entire process, talk to the doctor, see if this is safe for you, this is something for you, and then trial the product if that's what you have decided on. And if you want to go one step further, do some testing, ask your doctor about what are some of the testing that are good for you to see if you can measure what are the changes to your body by taking this supplement. And then from there, decide whether you want this supplement on a regular basis or not. Before I end off, the last point I'll bring up is my personal experience from my consultancy role. So I did give up plenty of samples to people who I think might become partners. And the thing I have to say is none of them have a bad review. Like 0. None of them. So my recommendation is go test it out for yourself if you're curious. Go through the process and see what's the answer you end up with. If you do end up deciding to purchase the product and you found this insightful, please feel free to use my affiliate link. If not, till next time, take care.